My name is Elena Martinez, and I never thought my life would unravel on a Tuesday afternoon in a coffee shop on Fifth Avenue in Manhattan. The rain was pouring outside, one of those cold November rains that seeps through your coat and chills you to the bone. I sat across from Derek, my boyfriend of 4 years, watching him stir his espresso with mechanical precision. His jaw was set in that way that told me something awful was coming. "Elena, I can't do this anymore," he said, not even looking at me. My heart dropped into my stomach. "Can't do what?" "This. Us. Your dreams. Your struggling artist routine. Your refusal to grow up and get a real job." He finally met my eyes, and what I saw there was contempt. Pure, undiluted contempt. I'm 36 years old. I need a partner who can contribute, not someone who lives in a rent-controlled studio in Queens, painting pictures that nobody buys. I felt my cheeks burn. "I sold 3 pieces last month. For what? $500 total?" He laughed bitterly. "I make that in an afternoon at the firm. I need someone on my level, Elena. Someone who understands success, ambition, luxury. Not someone who shops at thrift stores and thinks a nice dinner is takeout Thai food." Each word was a knife. We'd been through so much together, or so I'd thought. He'd been there when my mother died 2 years ago, when I'd cried myself to sleep for months. He'd told me he loved my passion, my creativity, my independence. Now, apparently, those were flaws. "I met someone," he continued, pulling out his phone and showing me a photo. A blonde woman in a designer dress, standing in front of what looked like a yacht. "Vanessa, she's a corporate lawyer. We're at the same place in life. We want the same things." "How long?" My voice came out as a whisper. 3 months. He didn't even have the decency to look ashamed. "Look, I'm doing you a favor. You need to wake up and realize that life isn't a fairy tale. Your art isn't going to save you. You're 33 years old with nothing to show for it. No savings, no property, no prospects. You'll die alone and broke, Elena, still believing that passion is enough." He stood up, dropped a 20 on the table, and walked out. Just like that, 4 years reduced to a $20 bill and a list of my failures. I sat there for an hour, watching the rain streak down the window, feeling like the world had tilted on its axis. When I finally made it back to my apartment in Astoria, my roommate Sophia was sitting on our worn couch, eating cereal straight from the box. She took one look at my face and knew. "He did it?" I nodded, collapsing next to her. "He said I'm going to die alone and broke, that I'm a failure because I'm not rich and successful like him." Sophia pulled me into a hug. "Derek is a pretentious jackass who wears boat shoes unironically. You dodged a bullet." But even her humor couldn't pierce the darkness that had settled over me. That night, I lay in bed staring at my ceiling, where a crack in the plaster had formed a pattern that looked like a bird. Was Derek right? Had I wasted my life chasing a dream that would never materialize? 2 days after Derek destroyed my world, I was sitting at my small kitchen table, drinking coffee that had gone cold hours ago, when there was a knock at the door. Sophia had already left for her job at the advertising agency, and I was alone with my thoughts. Never a good place to be lately. A man in an expensive gray suit stood in the hallway, looking completely out of place in our building with its peeling paint and flickering fluorescent lights. "Elena Martinez?" he asked, holding a leather briefcase. "Yes? My name is Richard Thornton. I'm an attorney with Thornton, Wade & Associates. May I come in? I have some rather urgent matters to discuss with you." My first thought was that Derek had done something spiteful. Maybe sued me for the time I'd borrowed his credit card for art supplies. But the man's expression was kind, almost gentle, and something made me trust him enough to let him inside. He sat on our thrift store armchair and pulled out a thick folder. "Ms. Martinez, do you know a woman named Catherine Ashworth?" I searched my memory. "No, I don't think so. Why?" "Catherine Ashworth passed away 6 weeks ago at the age of 92. She was a resident of the Upper East Side and a significant collector of contemporary art." He paused, studying me carefully. "She left her entire estate to you." I laughed. I couldn't help it. "That's impossible. I don't know anyone named Catherine Ashworth." "Perhaps not personally," Mr. Thornton said, opening the folder and pulling out a photograph. "But she knew you. Or rather, she knew your work." The photograph showed an elderly woman with silver hair and sharp, intelligent eyes standing in a gallery. Behind her, on the wall, was one of my paintings. Not one of the small ones I'd sold at street fairs or coffee shops. One of my serious pieces, a large canvas I'd called The Weight of Light, a portrait of my mother in her hospital room, the afternoon sun streaming through the window, turning everything golden, even in the midst of dying. How? I couldn't form a complete sentence. You sold this piece 3 years ago through a small gallery in Chelsea. Mrs. Ashworth purchased it anonymously. She told me that it was the most profound piece of art she'd encountered in 50 years of collecting. She had no living relatives, Ms. Martinez. No children, no nieces or nephews. She spent her life collecting art, and when she was diagnosed with cancer last year, she made a decision. She wanted her estate to go to someone who understood the true value of creation. My hands were shaking. How much? What exactly? Mr. Thornton pulled out another document. The estate is valued at approximately $97 million. This includes her penthouse apartment on Park Avenue, currently valued at $18 million. A collection of artwork worth approximately $30 million. Various investment portfolios, and liquid assets. There are some stipulations in the will regarding the art collection. She asks that you donate 10 specific pieces to various museums, but otherwise, everything is yours. The room spun. I gripped the edge of the table to steady myself. This has to be a mistake. It's not. I've spent the last 6 weeks verifying every detail, handling the probate process, settling estate taxes. Everything is in order. Mrs. Ashworth was very specific in her wishes. She included a letter for you. He handed me an envelope, yellowed with age, sealed with actual wax. After Mr. Thornton left with promises to be in touch about paperwork and next steps, I sat holding the letter for a long time. Finally, with trembling fingers, I broke the seal. Dear Elena, we've never met, but I feel I know you. Your painting hangs in my bedroom, where I see it first thing every morning and last thing every night. In it, I see everything I've felt about life and death, love and loss, beauty and sorrow. You captured something true. I've been collecting art for over 50 years. I've owned Picassos and Rothkos, Kahlos and O'Keeffe's. But your work moved me in a way that none of those ever did. Not because it's technically perfect, though your skill is considerable, but because it's honest. Painfully, beautifully honest. I'm dying as I write this. Cancer, the doctors say, though I prefer to think of it as simply the end of a long and privileged life. I have no family. My husband died 30 years ago. We never had children. My friends are all dead or dying, but I'm not sad. I've had a wonderful life, filled with art and beauty and meaning. I want my estate to go to someone who understands that the world needs beauty. Not superficial beauty, but the kind that makes you see yourself and others differently. The kind you create. I've watched your career from afar, Elena. I know you struggle. I know the art world can be cruel to those who don't play its games. I know that true artists often die poor while their work becomes priceless only after they're gone. I won't let that happen to you. Use this gift to create, to live without fear, to show the world what you see. And please, don't let anyone tell you that your work isn't valuable. It's worth more than all the money I'm leaving you. Create fearlessly, Catherine. I read the letter 3 times, tears streaming down my face. Then I called Sophia at work. I need you to come home, I said. Something impossible just happened. The next few weeks were a blur of meetings with attorneys, financial advisors, and accountants. Mr. Thornton guided me through everything with patience, explaining terms I'd never heard before, helping me understand the responsibility that came with this kind of wealth. The hardest part was keeping it secret until all the paperwork was finalized. Sophia was my rock through everything, helping me stay grounded when the enormity of what had happened threatened to overwhelm me. You deserve this, she kept saying. The universe is finally paying attention. But I couldn't shake Derek's words. You'll die alone and broke. They echoed in my head constantly, mixed now with Catherine's letter and the impossible reality of $97 million. The day I got access to the funds, I did something impulsive. I called Derek. Elena? He sounded annoyed. I thought we agreed to a clean break. We need to talk. Can you meet me at that coffee shop? The one where you broke up with me? He sighed. I'm busy. Vanessa and I, please, it's important. One last conversation. Something in my voice must have convinced him because he agreed to meet me the next day at 3 o'clock. I arrived early, dressed in the same jeans and sweater I'd worn the day he left me. I wanted him to see me exactly as I was. When he walked in, he looked irritated, checking his watch like I was already wasting his time. "What's this about?" he asked, not bothering to order anything. I slid an envelope across the table. "I wanted to give you this." He opened it and pulled out a check. His eyes widened. "This is for $50,000. It's to pay you back for everything you ever spent on me. Every dinner, every birthday gift, every vacation. I kept a list over the years because I always felt guilty that you paid for so much. I calculated 4 years of expenses, added interest, and rounded up." His face went through several emotions: confusion, shock, and then suspicion. "Where did you get this kind of money? Did you steal it?" "I inherited it from a woman named Catherine Ashworth. She bought one of my paintings 3 years ago. It meant something to her, enough that she left me her entire estate. $97 million, Derek." The color drained from his face. "You're lying." I pulled out my phone and showed him the bank statement Mr. Thornton had given me permission to share. I watched as he scrolled through the numbers, his hand shaking slightly. "The painting she bought?" I continued. "It was The Weight of Light, the one you said was too depressing, too dark, unmarketable. She called it the most profound piece of art she'd seen in 50 years. Derek's mouth opened and closed like a fish. "Elena, we should talk about this. I made a mistake. Vanessa, she's not, what we had was special. I was just stressed with work." "Stop!" My voice was calm, much calmer than I felt. "I didn't ask you here to get back together. I asked you here because I needed you to see something. You told me I'd die alone and broke. You made me feel worthless, and I almost believed you. I almost let your words destroy what Catherine saw in me." "Elena, please." "I'm going to honor Catherine's gift by doing exactly what she asked. I'm going to create fearlessly. I'm going to open a foundation for struggling artists, giving them grants so they don't have to choose between paying rent and buying canvas. I'm going to turn Catherine's penthouse into a gallery space for emerging artists. And I'm going to keep painting, keep creating, keep proving that the things you called worthless, passion, creativity, dreams, are the only things that really matter." I stood up to leave. Derek grabbed my arm. "You can't just walk away. We were together for 4 years. That has to mean something." I looked at his hand on my arm, then at his face. It did mean something. It taught me that some people will only value you when they think you can give them something. "You didn't love me, Derek. You loved the idea of a girlfriend who was quirky and artistic until that reality became inconvenient. Vanessa is welcome to you." I pulled my arm free and walked out into the December cold. The city looked different now, not because of the money, but because I saw it through Catherine's eyes. Everything was art. The steam rising from the subway grates, the way light caught on glass buildings, the faces of people rushing past with their own stories and struggles and dreams. I pulled out my phone and called Sophia. "Want to help me look at studios? Real ones this time, with good light and high ceilings." Her scream of joy made me laugh for the first time in weeks. 6 months later, I stood in Catherine Ashworth's former penthouse, now transformed into the Ashworth Gallery for Emerging Artists. Sophia stood beside me, looking stunning in a dress she'd spent an hour picking out, while photographers captured the opening night. 50 artists had pieces on display, all of them selected from thousands of applications. Each one would receive a $50,000 grant, no strings attached, to pursue their work. "You clean up nice," Sophia whispered, nudging me. I looked down at my dress, a simple black gown that Catherine had owned, that her attorney had found in her closet, with a note saying, "For Elena's first gallery opening." Somehow she'd known. Even from beyond the grave, she'd believed in me more than I'd believed in myself. The gallery was packed. Critics, collectors, art students, and curious socialites mingled under Catherine's crystal chandeliers. On the north wall hung The Weight of Light, restored to pristine condition. Catherine had kept it in perfect preservation, and her will had specified it should be the centerpiece of whatever I chose to do with her collection. Next to it was a plaque with her letter to me, so everyone could understand why this space existed. "Ms. Martinez?" A young woman approached, nervous and excited. "I'm Jenny Chen. You gave me one of the grants. I just wanted to say, you changed my life. I was working 3 jobs, painting at midnight in my bathroom because it was the only space I had. Now I can afford a studio. I can actually focus on my work. Thank you." I hugged her, feeling tears prick my eyes. "Thank you for applying. Your work is extraordinary." As she walked away, I saw Derek enter the gallery. He was alone. I'd heard through mutual friends that Vanessa had left him for a senior partner at her firm. He looked older, diminished somehow in the grandeur of the space. He saw me and started to approach, but Sophia intercepted him. "Nope," she said cheerfully. "Not tonight. This isn't about you." Mr. Thornton appeared at my elbow, a glass of champagne in hand. "Catherine would be proud," he said softly. "This is exactly what she dreamed of." "I wish I could have met her," I said. "In a way, you did. She knew you through your work, and you know her through her gift." As the night wore on, I found myself standing in front of the weight of light, studying my mother's face as I'd painted it 3 years ago. I'd captured her in a moment of peace, despite the pain, despite the dying. The golden light had transformed everything, had made beauty out of suffering. That's what Catherine had seen. That's what Derek had missed. My phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. "I'm sorry. I was wrong about everything. D." I deleted it without responding. Some apologies come too late, and some people only see value in what they've lost. But I wasn't angry anymore. If Derek hadn't broken my heart, I might not have appreciated Catherine's gift. I might have taken it for granted, instead of understanding it as the profound act of faith it was. Sophia joined me in front of the painting. "Your mom would be proud too, you know." I know, and I did. My mother had always supported my art, even when it meant going without, even when everyone else told me to get a real job. She'd understood that creating was as necessary to me as breathing. Now I could honor that understanding by helping others breathe too. A young man approached, probably early 20s, with paint-stained fingers and a nervous smile. "Excuse me, Ms. Martinez? I'm one of the grant recipients. I wanted to ask, why did you do this? You could have kept all the money, lived in luxury, never worked again." I looked around the gallery, at the art on the walls, the artists discussing their work, the collectors writing checks to commission pieces, the students studying techniques, the sheer vital energy of creation happening in real time. "Because money isn't the point," I said. "It never was." Catherine understood that. She could have left her fortune to a museum, to a university, to any number of worthy causes. But she gave it to me because she believed I'd use it to create more beauty, more truth, more art. And she was right. This is worth more than $97 million. This is worth everything. Later that night, after the last guest had left, I sat alone in the gallery with a sketch pad. I needed this moment, this quiet, this space to reflect on how dramatically life could change. I thought about Catherine, spending her last days in pain but taking the time to write me a letter, to plan this gift, to believe in a stranger's art. I thought about Derek, so focused on material success that he'd missed the chance to be part of something meaningful. I thought about my mother, who'd given me permission to dream even when dreaming seemed impractical. And I thought about myself, the woman I'd been 6 months ago, crying in a coffee shop, believing she'd wasted her life. That woman felt like a stranger now. I started sketching, letting my hand move across the paper without conscious thought. An image emerged, Catherine standing in front of my painting, seeing herself reflected in my mother's face. I'd paint this, I decided. I'd call it The Gift, and it would hang here, in this gallery, forever. As the city lights twinkled outside the floor-to-ceiling windows, I felt something settle inside me. This was my life now, not because of money, but because I'd finally understood what Catherine had tried to tell me, that the only person who needed to believe in my art was me. Derek had been wrong. I wouldn't die alone and broke. I would die surrounded by beauty I'd created and helped others create, wealthy in the only currency that really mattered: purpose, passion, and the courage to be exactly who I was meant to be. And somewhere, I like to think, Catherine was smiling, knowing her gift had found its truest expression, not in the money itself, but in what that money had freed me to become.